Okay, so when I was living in Philadelphia, Steve would always say, you gotta go to the Erin Express Bar Crawl in town. And he came down to visit almost every year for it. But last year, a particularly funny story happened. So, I was working nights at the time, and so I said, hey Steve, I'm not going to be able to hit the bar crawl all day like you want me to, but I'm going to take a nap in the morning, and then I'll hit you up in the afternoon, and we'll see what's what. We'll meet up, we'll have some drinks, and so on. So I end up calling Steve, and it must be, 3 or 4 in the afternoon at this point. And Steve, I can tell on the phone, is not sober at this point. So he says, hey, you gotta come over to this bar, we're having a great time, and he yells a whole bunch of incoherent stuff on the phone. So Liz and I go and meet up with Steve at this bar, which incidentally is called Bar in Philadelphia. And of course, consistent with the phone conversation with Steve, he is hammered. And the funny thing is that he looks very beaten up. Like he's got like cuts and scrapes like all over his face and neck and like forehead. It looks like he was bleeding a little while earlier. And I go, Steve, what happened to your face? And he says, I don't know what happened. And can't really give me a straight story because he's that much intoxicated at this point. So we end up having a good time, and we have a bunch more drinks, and Steve ends up going home with whoever he ended up going home with. And I end up calling him the next day because I'm like, hey, I need to find out what really happened to him last night. And so I call him, I'm like, hey Steve, what the heck happened to your face last night? And he's like, oh, that was a piggyback ride that went horribly wrong. So the moral of the story is, don't partake in spontaneous piggyback rides. Happy birthday, Steve.